Hey, what's up, guys? This is Walt. This is the Jets landing zone, and I am going to be your air traffic controller for Week 7 in the NFL for the New York Jets. And wow, that's there's not a lot. You know what? Let's start with the good stuff. Yankees in the World Series. In the WNBA, the New York Liberty has won their first championship. Hope springs eternal for the Knicks, and the Rangers are off to a hot start. So, you know what that means? One of these things is not like the others. Um, I I don't even know where to begin with this team, man, because the Jets are this enigma right now that you can't explain. You know, you try and figure this team out, and you really can't. So you know what? The Jets played on Sunday night. The game literally finished like 5 minutes ago, and they lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh, 37-15, in one of the most excruciating and embarrassing losses that I can remember in a long time. And there is a lot to unpack here. The Jets were, and you know what? The thing about it is that the Jets, they actually started like the first drive on defense was pretty bad, and I guess it was kind of a harbinger of things to come. But you know what? The Jets came out and scored the first drive. They didn't do anything, but then they scored. They were leading this game 15-6 going into the second half, and then you had a turnover. The Jets were actually driving and looking to put another score on, and they had a turnover which kind of gave the Steelers life at the end of that second quarter, and they ended up cashing in. And so instead of going up 18-6 or maybe 22-6 and stuff like that, the Jets go into halftime with a 15-13 score. They were ahead, and then the wheels literally just fell off this team. And we say it all the time. We say it every single year. This is a good Jets team. This is a top 5 roster team. This defense is, a Super Bowl contending team. And then we get this. And let's before I get into everything, let's take a look at it each unit one by one. The offense. I don't know what's up with this offense. You look at this offense that has a quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, Brees Hall, Braylon Allen. Yes, he's a rookie yet, but there you can see that there's some talent there. And you go to the wide receivers. Literally, they just traded for Devontae Adams. You have a wide receiving core that consists of Devontae Adams, Garrett Williams, Garrett Wilson, I'm sorry, Mike Williams, Alan Lazard. You've got Tyler Conklin there, who's a pretty decent tight end, and you can't score more than 15 points. I mean, this is something that we didn't need to fire Salah. We could have kept Zach Wilson for all of this stuff. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers, and we can't score more than 15 points. The last couple of weeks, I've seen posts on both X and Instagram where they go and they say, well, you know what? The Jets this year have scored the exact same thing that they did last year, 93 points. And then the following week, they go and they say, well, you know what? It's week 6 in the NFL. The Jets have scored 111 points. Guess what? They scored that exact same thing last year. Last year, we had Zach Wilson. We had Tim Boyle. We had, who was it? Trevor Simeon. I mean, we were literally rolling out quarterbacks that we got straight off the street. We've got Aaron freaking Rodgers in the building. You can't score more than 15 points. Now, granted, this is a Pittsburgh team that's very, very good. They have an excellent pass rush. They're very good in run defense and stuff like that. Their secondary, you can kind of get away with it. And I said it in one of our in the preview, a game preview, just a couple of days ago. The Jets could take advantage of that team if they had short, quick passes. I don't know what happened. You can't run the ball, and Brees Hall was cooking at the very beginning. What happened after that? Garrett Wilson, bad interception. I mean, that what happened. That really was the turning point of the game. That Garrett Wilson, I don't know what the hell you want to call it. It bounced off his chest. It almost looked like Garrett Wilson, as he was running that route, turned around, saw that the ball was coming, and expected the corner to knock it down or intercept it. Because once it got past them, he was like, "Oh shit!" It hits him right on the chest and the hands, bounces off, and of course, this being the Jets, right into the hands of the defender. I think the guy's name is Beanie or something. Look, we've got a guy named freaking Beanie that's picking off Aaron Rodgers and taking it all the way down to the 1 yard line. Devontae Adams had to run him down. Nobody else could catch up to him. It is just so frustrating watching this team every single week and seeing them doing the exact same things, the exact same issues, the exact same problems, and with no fixes whatsoever. None. The defense, they started out badly. They actually kind of found their footing, and then after that, you get into the second half, which they've been good at. That's the thing that drives us nuts. I I went into halftime saying, okay, yeah, all right, it's 15-13. Fine, no problem. Because you know what? The Jets of this year, despite all their issues, they've always found a way to shut the team out in the second half. And guess what? They didn't do it this time. And you know what? Missed tackles, bad assignments, and a lot of this kind of falls on Joe Douglas because you know what? He let go of Bryce Huff, which honestly, Bryce Huff, I'm not mad at because you know what? He's not doing a damn thing over in Pennsylvania in I'm sorry, Philadelphia. He's not doing anything. So you're not missing anything there. But you know what? You let go of JFM. You let go of Quentin Jefferson. You let go of Al Woods. Those were the meat and potatoes of that defensive line. And I got to say this. I really do have to say this. This Jets team is desperately missing Jermaine Johnson. Desperately. He was a guy that, you know what? A very good pass rusher, a good all-around defensive player. And mind you, that may not have made much of a difference here, but that goes a long way to helping out this team because you know what? You're pairing him instead of Michael Clemens. Michael Clemens is an absolute disaster right now. You know what I'm saying? So, Jermaine Johnson, this is a team that's desperately missing Jermaine Johnson. And quite honestly, they have nobody on that defensive line to help out Quinnen Williams. Nobody. And Quinnen Williams had a decent game today. But you know what? What does it matter? Because they were just getting run over at will. Whenever the Steelers wanted to run that ball, go ahead, do it. Doesn't matter. We're not going to stop you. And if we do try, our tackling is horrendous. That is not going to make a difference. How does the team not tackle? This team is a horrendous tackling team. Again, I'm not going to put it all on the defense because you know what? This team was missing DJ Reed, Michael Carter. They lost Tony Adams midway through the game. Chuck Clark is not there. He's going to be out for 4 weeks. Ashton Davis went out. They were literally picking guys from the stands and saying, hey, suit up because we need some secondary help. That's how bad it was. But you know what? Have some pride. You know what I'm saying? This team, nothing. And let's talk about special teams now. Special teams on this team is horrendous. And I don't understand why we're not holding this team accountable on that special teams. Greg Zuerlein, I'm sorry. I am a staunch supporter of Greg Zuerlein. I love Greg Zuerlein last year. I understand kickers have their ups and downs and stuff like that. But clearly, Greg does not have it this year. And yes, they brought in some kickers to try and spark some stuff. behind him and light a fire under his ass, and maybe he's going to start kicking better. But you know what? He had a block extra point today. He had a block field goal, which was a killer because at the time the Jets were kind of trying to come back. And if he had hit that field goal, we would have been down by 8. Instead, we stayed down by 11, and then they just go down and just I'm telling you, this team drives me nuts. I I don't even know what to say anymore. I was literally at the end of this is how bad this game was. At the end of the third quarter, I literally thought that was the end of the game. I don't know if it's because this thing was extended with all the, but I was like, okay, it's the third quarter, they're running the clock down. I'm like, why aren't they calling a timeout? And my wife, who was sitting next to me, was like, why are they calling a timeout? It's the end of the third quarter. I said, oh shit, you're telling me we still got another quarter of this? I can't with this team. I really, really can't. And you know what? The optimist in me will say, okay, the Jets are 2-5, but they still have a slim chance of making the playoffs. But let me ask you this, and that's again mathematical. There's a chance that they possibly could make a run here and stuff like that. But again, Jet fans, I'm gonna ask you this, and please let me know in the comments and tell me that I'm wrong. But is there anything that leads you to believe that this team can go on a run? That this team could string together some wins here? That this team could actually look like a capable offense? Because right now they're not. Right now, you could bring back Salah. You can bring back Zach. Hell, you can even bring back Tim Boyle. And they can do the exact same thing that the Jets are doing right now. Really, they can. They're not scoring points. And it's bad, bad, bad drops, bad throws, unfortunate, untimely penalties. The thing about the Jets right now is that they are, how can I say this? All it takes is one thing to derail the entire team. That's what it feels like right now. Like this team feels like the weight of the world is on their shoulders, which understandable. I get it. But it's like it's literally a house of cards. All you do is just grab a card, pull it out, and the whole thing comes crashing down. And that's what it seems like we're going play to play, drive to drive, quarter to quarter, game to game. That's how this feels with this Jets team, that it only takes one thing and this team loses focus. This team loses its ability to kind of compose itself, and just everything goes off the rails. And you know what? I was watching Jets post game. Those guys are great on SNY. But Bart Scott said something that probably rings really, really true and stuff like that. This team might be missing Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh, for all his flaws and for all the things that you want to say, Robert Saleh, after every play, especially defensively, he would go over to those guys and rile them up. He would go over to them and say, you know what, we're still in this. He would go over there and kind of keep that enthusiasm with that side of the ball. We're not seeing that anymore. And I don't know if this is a Jeff Ulbrich thing and that's not his style or whatever, but there is some bad body language on this team. And you know what? It starts with number 8. Because number 8, I am sick and tired of seeing number 8 going around after somebody drops the ball or he throws a pass. He was inaccurate as fuck today. He was horrible throwing that ball today. And you know what? Maybe the stats say something different. I think he was 27 of 39 for 271 yards. But the thing about it is I am sick and tired of every time something happens that it feels like it doesn't feel like it's his fault. That he's always kind of trying to put it on the wide receiver. Oh, you were supposed to be there. Oh, you were supposed to be there. Oh, you were supposed to. Are you going to take? We talk about accountability with the Jets. Is number 8 going to take accountability? Yes. He goes and he says, well, you know what? Some of it is my fault. No, you know what? Enough of this. We're talking about week 7. Get your shit together already. It shouldn't take this long for you to figure it out with the talent that this team has. With the talent, you look at this team, just the wide receiving. If you told somebody that there was a team that had Aaron Rodgers and Breece Hall and Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson and Alan Lazard and Mike Williams, and they could not score more than 15 points against a Steelers team that looked like they were world beaters today, the Steelers scored 37 points with a guy that literally hasn't played since last Christmas. Seriously? I mean, it's just watching the Jets is just an excruciating experience. And I've been doing it for now over 30, almost 40 years now. I started watching the Jets back in 86. And you know what? It never changes with this team. Never. There are some times that we've had some high points, but you know what? There's always something. This team feels like it's really cursed. And you know what? Woody? Fire Woody. I'm sick and tired of Woody. I'm sick and tired of you know what? We're at the point right now. And again, I know in my sane, logical mind, we're still kind of there. We're still a team that can conceivably sneak into the wild card. You know what I'm saying? But deep down inside, they're the Jets. There's something that's always going to happen with this team where it's like, you know, the Jets are going to jet. That's what they're going to do. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of watching this team constantly fumble all over itself. You know what I'm saying? They're their own worst enemy. And we've had plenty of instances. I mean, it's almost comical, but actually one of our gaffes actually worked in our favor, because that second touchdown to Conklin, it was right during the time where Obik was trying to throw the challenge flag, and he dropped it. And by the time he picked it up to actually throw it, the play was already ongoing. Lucky for us, we got a touchdown out of it. But again, how do you drop a challenge flag right before you're gonna run the play? I can't with this team. I really can't. I don't understand. And then 31 unanswered points to end the game. You made this team again with a Russell Wilson that has not played since December of last year. Think about that. An entire year. And you made him look like the next coming of Joe Montana. He was dropping bombs, and they had no answer for it. And I'm sorry, you know, this Jets defense, have some pride, do something. But I mean, and I get it, you know what I'm saying? After a while, the defense for the last 2 years, you know, they've been holding, they're the glue that holds this team together. They've been doing it for so long, and I get it. I really do get it. It gets tiring. It gets exhausting, always having to be that guy, that part of the team that always has to be perfect for this team to succeed. But it wasn't supposed to be this way this year. This year was the year that, you know what, Aaron Rodgers, we've said it last year, if we only had a capable quarterback, we didn't need anybody, we didn't need MVP Aaron Rodgers. We just needed really good Aaron Rodgers. We needed good Aaron Rodgers just to get us through, get the run game going. That was the formula. The run game, and then Aaron Rodgers, sprinkle him in here a little bit there, and then let him work his magic in the fourth quarter. That was supposed to be the plan. That plan is done. We can't do anything on the ground. And Aaron Rodgers today was probably, again, I say statistically, he was good. You know what I'm saying? You look at it and he was like, okay, 24 of 39. He hit what? 60% of his passes, somewhere around there. 271 yards. Yeah, again, he didn't hit 300. We're fixated on that number, but you know what? 271 yards, not a bad thing, right? A touchdown, but those two interceptions. And one of them, again, not his fault. That thing was Garrett Wilson right on the chest. But there is something about this team that feels so unprepared. And there's something about this team where it's like just one little thing just derails the entire game. And then it just snowballs and gets worse and worse. I'm tired. I'm exhausted watching this team. I really, really am. And I guess I'm a sucker for it because I've been doing this for almost 40 years, right? So, do it once, shame on you. Do it twice, shame on me, right? Do it 40 years worth, fucking shame on me for thinking that this team, after all of this stuff, has a chance of being good. And you know what? There is something to be said about, I think it's a Bill Parcells quote, where it says, you know what? Great players can't overcome bad coaching. And that's what this team is famous for. We haven't had a decent coach in like forever. I think you can go all the way back. Maybe Herm Edwards, if you want. He kind of brought us close to the Super Bowl. Rex Ryan, okay, whatever. I think the last real good coach we had was Bill Parcells, and that goes all the way back to the 90s. When are we ever going to get a good coach? We can't. We can bring in Davante Adams. I'm pretty sure next week they're going to say, hey, you know what? We're going to trade for Justin Jefferson. It's not going to make a fucking dent in what happens with this team, because you know what? This team just doesn't have the coaching to match the level of talent that they put on that field. And that's just the bottom line, because Stone Cold says so, or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, I'm done talking about this team right now. Let's look ahead at the next. And hey, misery loves company, right? Because the Jets are going to travel to Foxborough to play the 1-6 Patriots, and watch, they'll probably lose that game. Watch them let Drake May throw for like 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's where I'm at right now. That's how crazy this team has me right now. But that's what happens. So you know what? We can say, the Jets, another get right game. They go to 3-5. Hey, everything is wonderful in Florham Park. Joe Douglas is running around in tighty whities with Jeff Ulbrich, and they're giving each other flowers and patting themselves on the backs and saying, "Hey, great job for a 3-5 team if they beat the Patriots next week." That's a big if at this point, because right now this team, it doesn't seem like they could beat the Bad News Bears. And yes, I know the Bad News Bears are the baseball team. The Bad News Bears at this point will beat the New York Giants, the 2024 New York Giants, the way that they're playing right now. And that's a shame. Anyway, I think I'm done for today. So thanks for watching. Listen, if you like what you see, if you enjoy me going on stupid rants, smash that subscribe button. Make sure that you'll be here next week, because I'll be here and I'm probably going to say the same things over and over again. But sucker for me for being a Jets fan for 40 some odd years and stuff. We'll do it again next week, guys. So until then, I don't know. Go Jets.